So I quit my $300,000 job after learning this lesson about money. Now I have to give credit where credit is due. I got the inspiration for this video from another YouTuber named Ryan Scribner. Ryan Scribner is another influencer in the financial independence niche, and I watched his story about this same thing where he quit his $70,000 job, and that inspired me to share my story about why I left $300,000 on the table when I learned this lesson about money. So I had a very safe, very secure job in the commercial insurance industry. I was poised to become the VP of sales, making me one of the youngest VPs in the company's history. But as soon as I learned this fact about money, I chose to quit that job entirely, and today I'm going to teach that lesson to all of you. I promise you guys will not want to click out of this video. You will want to stay to the very end because this is going to be the most important lesson about money that you will ever learn. This lesson is not taught in high school, it's not taught in college. But as somebody who has reached financial independence and is able to retire, I wholeheartedly believe that it is my duty to share this knowledge with all of you guys for free. So first and foremost, we are all taught from a very early age that the formula to earn money is you work 40 hours a week in exchange for a paycheck. In other words, you trade your time for dollars. What many of you watching probably don't know is some of the richest men in America's history, men like John D. Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, Vanderbilt, JP Morgan, all of these men in the Industrial Revolution were huge titans of industry, and to this day, in today's currency, each of them individually have more money than Jeff Bezos. Now, these men weren't actually friends. On the contrary, they're actually kind of enemies because they were all battling it out to be the richest man in the world. But there was one day that they put their differences aside and they met behind closed doors. All of these titans of industries, there were a few judges and there were a few politicians that met behind closed doors. Basically, all of these men agreed that they needed more employees who are competent and capable. They needed employees who were just smart enough to work the machines and fill out the paperwork, but not so smart that they would start asking questions about why the people at the top have all the money. It was in that room that these men decided, well, where are we going to get all these employees? Where are we going to have people that just take orders, stay in their lane, they draw inside the lines, they don't ask questions, and we can just dangle carrots in front of them and reward them for doing a good job? These men agreed that the best possible way to do that was to indoctrinate it into the school system. So, in school, you are not allowed to learn about money. The government won't allow you to be taught about money. You are taught to think a certain way. It's very inside-the-box thinking. You are told what to think, what to believe, and if you buy into that and you do it well, you are rewarded with an A. If you don't do well, you fail. School is basically a training ground for employees. I mean, that is what school is. When you're in school, you're preparing for college. And when you go to college, that's preparing you for the marketplace. In other words, it's preparing you to go get a job. So in school, if you do something and you do it well, you get an A. In the job market, if you do something and you do it well, you get a paycheck. If you don't do it well, you get fired. Just like in school, if you don't do it well, you get an F. F for fired or F for failure. So in the marketplace, your hourly rate times your time equals your paycheck. What they don't tell you, what the government does not allow the school system to tell you, what your parents won't tell you, what your friends won't tell you, is that having a job is actually the worst way to make money. Now, without sounding too much like a get-rich-quick schemer and all that nonsense, I don't want to knock the 9-to-5 too much because jobs are good for the economy. People who are working do better than people who are not working. But what I'm about to prove to you in this video is that having a job for a paycheck not only is the worst type of way to make money, it's actually the most inefficient way to make money as well. Let's start with this. If you're unhappy with the amount of money you're making, you have two options. Number one, you can work more hours because you're paid for every hour that you work. Or number two, you can develop your skills so that every hour that you work is more valuable. So maybe instead of making $20 an hour, you invest in yourself, you develop some skills so that your hourly rate increases to $25 per hour. Now, although that's a really good first step, there's a much better way to do this. There are three types of income. There is earned income that comes from wages. There is portfolio income or capital gains, which comes from the sale of business or the sale of stock. And then there is passive income, like the rents you collect from owning apartment buildings. The first type of income, earned income or wages, that hourly rate that we talked about earlier in this video, that is what the vast majority of people have. The problem is that takes the most amount of time. People work 40 or 50 hours a week. They trade their time for dollars, and they do this for 40 or 50 years of their life. I mean, think about it. You take the middle chunk of your life from age 25 to age 65, and you work 40 or 50 hours a week every day for somebody else, making them rich. Now, here is the kicker. Earned income, wages, that is taxed the heaviest. At the top rate, it's taxed at about 37.5%. The second type of income, which is portfolio income, aka capital gains, it takes way less time. You do not have to work 40 hours a week to buy and sell companies or buy and sell stock, and that is taxed at 20%. At the highest end, it's taxed at 20%, but if you make anything less than about $400,000 per year, it's taxed at only 15%. And the first $80,000 that you make in capital gains is tax-free. Not only that, but if the capital gain you make is from the sale of your primary residence, if you're single, the first $250,000 you make is tax-free, and if you're married, the first $500,000 is tax-free. Now again, if you made $500,000 by working a job, working wages, you would be taxed at 37.5%. If you make $500,000 because you and your spouse sell your primary residence, you pay $0 in taxes legally. Now, the third type of income is my most favorite type of income, and that, of course, is passive income. With passive income, specifically from rental properties, you have a depreciation schedule and you can legally pay 0 taxes. Now, by definition, passive income doesn't take any of your time. That's because it's passive. So think about this for a minute. If you work a job and you're really good at what you do, maybe you have scaled up to make about $100,000 a year working 50 hours a week. So you trade 50 hours a week for $100,000 per year, and after taxes, you're left with about $67,000. With passive income and real estate, I work 0 hours a week, I can make $100,000 a year, and I can pay 0 taxes. So not only do I have all my time back because I didn't spend my 40 or 50 hours a week working for a job making somebody else rich, I also keep way more of my money because I'm not paying taxes. And for anybody who might think this is shady or illegal, this is completely legal. I have a depreciation schedule where I literally pay no federal income tax on my money. By the way, this is the same formula that Donald Trump uses, and this is how the President of the United States can get away with paying no taxes. So the problem with wages, the problem with working for money, is there are only so many hours in a day. There are 24 hours in a day, and you can't work all of them because you have to eat, you have to sleep, hopefully get some exercise, and you want to be able to spend time with family and friends. So for most people, if they work any more than, let's say, 17 hours a day, they might completely shut down, like their body would give out. There's a reason why the workday is from 9 to 5. That's because entrepreneurs and business owners have figured out the most productive time to work a human being. They want you to come into the office or go into the warehouse, work as hard as you can for as long as you can, but they also want to keep you relatively healthy so you can come back and do it all the next day. The workday is from 9 to 5 because 9 to 6 might kill somebody. The problem is when you're only paid for your time, there's a limited amount of time in the day. With passive income, I can keep buying more and more rental properties. In fact, there's no limit to the amount of rental properties I can buy. That is because the properties that are paying me passive income now, I can just save all of that up to then go ahead and buy the next property. Then I have more overall passive income, which I can in turn save up to buy the next building and the next and the next. So although I personally only have 24 hours in a day, I could have 2,400 or 24,000 apartment units that are paying me each and every month, which by the way is a lot more money than I could make working any job, and I'm paying no taxes. So that is why I left $300,000 on the table. That is why currently, at the time of recording this video, I am not the VP of sales at an insurance company. Now, the salary they are going to pay me would have been a great salary. It's $300,000. But I already bring in more than that with my passive income from real estate, and again, it's tax-free. When you understand that time for money is a bad formula, you're really not interested in working a job anymore. Instead of trading 40 or 50 hours a week for $300,000 per year, I can take all of that time and invest it into researching the next apartment building to buy. And then instead of making $300,000 per year and paying taxes on all of it, I can scale up to make $300,000 per month and pay taxes on none of it. So again, to recap, there are 3 types of income: earned income or wages, which is what you get from working a job, and by using that strategy, you are going to pay the most taxes. The second type of income is portfolio income or capital gains. That's going to be taxed much lower than wages. The highest tax rate of capital gains currently is 20%. And again, it takes way less time to sell a stock or an asset than it does to work 40 hours a week at a job. And lastly, the third type of income is passive income. That's what you really want. You can theoretically make an infinite amount of money and pay no taxes legally. Where this is controversial is rich people have portfolio income and passive income, and people who are poor or people who are in the middle class, they have wages. What that means is that people who are poor and people who are in the middle class effectively are paying more taxes than wealthy individuals because we make our money in ways that don't require us to pay taxes. Love it or hate it, it is important to know this and important to have the information. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I will see you guys at the next one. Peace.